welcome to the Improv Summit. As always, I'm your host, Spencer, and with me today I have a very special guest. And I always say that I have a special guest, so what I usually do now is I take that person's first name, take the first letter of their first name, throw an adjective in front of it to make it even more unique and special. And today I have with me uh, Raspberry and Roxy. I don't think that's an adjective, but it is now. How's it going, Roxy?
Hi, Spencer. I'm
Or
good.
who
How are
prefer, or who
you?
prefer Roxanne? I didn't even think to ask you prefer Roxanne or Roxy.
My friends usually call me Roxy. I tend to like Roxy more in a non-business setting, so let's go with
Great.
that.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for joining us here on the Improv Summit. Let's just dive in because this is your show, your episode. Well, my show, your episode. It can be anyone's show at this point. Whatever. The point is, let's talk about you and your improv experience. So, what is your improv experience? What made you get into improv?
I guess what made me get into improv was taking a lot of improv classes and comedy classes when I was very young, around 10, 11 years old or so. And I realized it was something that I really enjoyed doing. And, then people go on to do theater in high school. And then a lot of people, by the time they hit college, are like, well, it's time for me to be an adult now and do adult things. But I never really hit that point in my life. And I was just the kind of person who said to themselves, nope, I want to just keep making up weird things and playing pretend all the time. So I guess I just never stopped.
Mhm.
um I do it now with my friends and with other actors that I've gotten to know as you well know, as part of the experience you and I have been part of, the group I helped found, Quest for the Missing Scripts. So I that's my main improv claim to fame, question mark. So
I feel like this. I feel like this show is my improv claim to fame. So sure.
yeah, let's share both of them. I love this. We're
Great.
overlapping in the Venn diagram here. I love it.
Yeah, which, by the way, take a look in the description below. You'll see Quest for the Missing Scripts YouTube channel. So take a look. Because I always plug that because this is my channel. That's a thing I'm part of. So why not cross promote? It is free to cross promote that. But also, if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for sponsors. Feel free to drop in the comments if you want to sponsor either show. We'd love it. Um, anyway, so it's awesome that you found inspiration in improv to create or co-create an improv team. And actually, one thing we haven't actually really talked about on this show is exactly how Quest for the Missing Scripts works. So why don't we talk a little bit about how this improv team is a little different than some of the other improv teams or shows you might see. Do you want to dive into that a little bit about Quest for the Missing Scripts and like how we use improv and movies together?
I'd love to. Okay. So the idea for the group came about because I had seen other improv groups in the New York, New Jersey area, and I had seen a lot of what they did, and some of them they have a theme, or they might have a theme for a particular performance that you went to. And I always thought the idea of basic things around a theme was interesting. And I'm a big film buff, and so is my friend Brian. Uh, Brian Brick, who helped me found Quest for the Missing Scripts. And this is our superhero origin story. So stay tuned. This is going somewhere. Um, March 2020 happened, and
Sure did.
anyone who's a performer will be like, well, that happened. And well, anyone, period. But especially if you're a performer, it was definitely a case of, well, that happened, and all that implies. But my friend Maria introduced me to her friend from acting school, Brian, because they had a bad movie night every week. And I'm a big film buff, so is Brian. And if there's one thing I love, it's bad movies. So Brian and I became firm friends right away. And we were both talking about how much we missed performing for a live audience, and we missed improv, and we missed we miss sketch comedy and all these other things that we both love so much. So I said to Brian, I bet we could come up with some kind of movie themed improv. And then I was on my way home from my uncle's house. It was one of the only places I went during the first couple months of lockdown. Um, and it was a long drive home with my mom, and I was thinking, and then I said I came up with a rough idea for quest for the missing scripts, and I said to Brian, I think we could do something where like we act out a movie, but it's not a movie that everyone in the group necessarily has seen, but it's well known enough that they sort of have to make up the movie based on what they think it's like. And I also got part of that idea from a director I really like. I'm probably going to say his name wrong. Panos Cosmatos, who's the director of Beyond the Black Rainbow and
Sounds very
Mandy.
Greek.
Sorry?
Sounds very Greek.
Yeah, he's an odd fellow, as they say on The Simpsons, but he
Oh, he's
said
Italian apparently. Interesting. He is
he's
not
a,
Greek, but Italian.
he's an odd fellow. And he he said that he tried to make movies that were based on what he thought VHS boxes were implying the movie was like when he was a kid and not allowed to watch adult films, horror films, things of that sort. So I said to Brian, what if we had people make up what they think a movie is like? And Brian's like, that's kind of an interesting idea, but I think we could refine it. So I came up with the initial format where one person gave a vague enough summary of the movie and he helped me refine it. So that's how the idea came about. After that, all we needed were the actors, and we were fortunate enough to find you right away. You were one of the first people that auditioned for us, and the minute I saw you, Spencer, I was like, I want this guy. He's funny. And
That's so funny you say that because I remember the audition. I remember specifically my callback, but I also was like, they're not going to cast me because I live in a different state.
I mean, but like the pandemic made that not
Yeah,
important. It made it
which is
not
another.
important because the show
Yeah,
was on Zoom and we were doing it in 2020. It was not
yeah.
important.
I just remember it was. All I remember actually. I say I remember the audition like I remember, but all I remember is it was a scene where the other guy was turning into a werewolf, and I just remember going like, "Sick! That's awesome."
That was
That's
really
all.
funny.
That's all
I
I
remember
remember.
that.
I remember literally nothing else.
I remember that. That was funny. But yeah, to piggyback off your earlier question, this is how the format at Quest for the Missing Scripts works. So what we do is we do improv versions of well-known films that are well-known enough to have some sort of impact on popular culture. Um, and what we do is we do a 20-minute version of that film. Everybody in the group gets a turn to direct one performance that we do, and they have to come up with the movie in advance. They have to pick what movie they want to direct in advance, but they can't tell anyone else in the group what the movie is ahead of time. So you'll have some people that will know this movie very well. You'll have some people that will have only a vague idea of what this movie is. For example, Rocky or Bridesmaids or Armageddon are some of the well-known films that we've done.
And
And
there's also the ones that are not as well known that we've done because I remember we did Cry Wolf. I'm pretty
that
sure
was
we
your
did Cry Wolf
idea.
already. That was mine. Which no one has heard of this movie. It's like you can watch it on Tubi for free. Like it's so good, but like John Bon Jovi is in a horror movie, and it's all just wild. But then it also, off of your point, like not knowing what the director is going to pick is like I know that you can kind of tell. Like with some of our players, we kind of have an idea of where they might go, but with me, it seems like I'm a wild card. You just never know what I'm going to pick because I've had Super Size Me, Cry Wolf, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, all really random movies, which is also fun to see.
It's your episode selection has been definitely the most esoteric, but I think some of those movies we've done have been really fun. I have to say, the first movie you ever did for us was Super Size Me, and you said to me, "Can I do a documentary?" And I said, what if you can find a way to make it work and it's not going to be really offensive or something, I don't see why I should stop you. So be creative, Spencer. And you did. And I
Yeah.
honestly think Super Size Me is one of the funniest movies we've ever done, because we just had a chance to do all these like man on the street type interviews. It became a tribute to Cher. There were all these crazy things happening, and that really
Mhm.
made it a memorable, the format made it a really memorable installment, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree completely. So yeah, so what I also want to talk about with Quest for the Missing Script, and for those that are watching and listening, I promise this isn't just a promo for the show. It actually ties in really well to improv because it's an improv show. But what's really unique about this format is that we are pulling a real movie, and so what's fascinating is it's twofold. One is that even though we're getting a basic plot line of a movie that exists, we're still making up things as we go, especially as you've mentioned, Roxy, when we have people who don't necessarily have never like seen the movie or even know what the movie is, they're really just going off on their own. Like, especially when it's like four friends gather together to do whatever the case may be. It's like, I'm Stuart, and everyone's like, who's Stuart? Like, it doesn't exist. Because what's great is even like the classics, like we have done like Rocky, we've done Ghostbusters, things like that, like movies that I know pretty well. Like I Ghostbusters is one of my favorite movies. I still can't remember every single detail about it. And I know there's like four Ghostbusters. And then I'm like, wait, are there? Are there three? Are there five? I'm like, no, there's four. And then I'm like, I don't remember what their names are. But like, I know, like, I can tell you like Dan Aykroyd and like Harold Ramis. But like, I don't know which one's which. And so it's always fun to see that because you get the different levels. You get the experts in the movie, the people who have seen it multiple times and like are familiar with the concept of it, and the people who have then you have people who have never seen it but know what it is, and then you have people who have never even heard of the movie. Like when we did like something like Serial Mom, that was a more obscure pick that people are like, I don't even know what this movie is. So it's great because we still have to improvise. And again, it's like basically the suggestion is the movie versus the audience suggesting pickle, pineapple, improv, pizza, the usual suggestions. So I think that's fun. I didn't know if there was anything that you found like I guess co-creating an improv team, an improv show, how the improv has kind of led into not only the formation of improv, but using all of that improv like in your daily life, like outside of the improv circle. Like how do you use that in a non performance way?
I found that improv is great training for a job interview, because the entire point of a job interview is that the people interviewing you are asking questions that are designed to force you to think on your feet and unbalance you. And you have to think of an idea quick, because if you really want this job, you do not want to be left standing there holding the ball going, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like that is not going to reflect well on you.
Yeah. Put the ball
So,
in their court.
absolutely. So that's a huge place where I use improv, because it's helped me to think abstractly. And if somebody asks me a question that I never expected to hear, my brain just goes, okay, how can we take our thoughts and string them together in order to make sense? So there's that. I find that improv is also very helpful when I'm writing in my daily life, because sometimes I have to write pieces for other people as part of my day job. And just any kind of training as an actor will help you feel what it's like to step into the other person's shoes, if you will. Okay, how would this person express this thought? Do they speak in a casual way? Do Are they very analytical? Um, do Are they a little more reserved? Do
Right.
they like to show their emotions? These are all things you're thinking about when you're writing for someone else. And
Mhm.
it's helped me in my writing as myself too, just when you're writing fiction and you're taking on the perspective of another character.
That's great. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people forget that like every day we improvise in our daily life. We don't wake up knowing exactly what we're doing I mean, we know that we might go to work, we might do this, but we know that we're gonna have lunch. We might make our lunch. We don't know when that lunch is gonna happen. We can kind of plan around things, but we don't know 100%. And every conversation you have in your day is not going to be planned. So
No.
you're improvising in everyday life. You're not like, hey, Mike, welcome to today. Yes, I know exactly what you're going to say because I have it already planned in my head what I'm going to say, and I know how you're going to respond. It doesn't work that way. And
No.
that's exactly how improv is. It's just a conversation between two people. So if you look at it outside of like the pressure of it being improv and more of it being like, hey, let's have a conversation, generally for me it feels like it takes the pressure off. But that's like one thing that I would say for me, that I would kind of provide to someone if they're thinking about improv, which actually leads me to this question. One of the reasons why the Improv Summit exists is if someone came up to you and said, you do a lot of improv, where should I take improv? Where should I start? What should I do? What would be one piece of advice that you'd give to that person to help guide them on their improv journey?
That's a good question, Spencer. And I'm sure you've gotten a lot of different answers from all the different people you've talked to on your show. So I'm sure a lot of people have said go to Upright Citizens Brigade or read this book, or you need to go and find this website and then learn everything that's on it, or go watch this TikToker and he's going to tell you everything you need to know about improv. I'm sure a lot of people have given answers like that. But I'm going to just give your watchers the best piece of advice I ever got, which is always trust your instincts. Um, and whether you're just starting to pursue improv, or maybe you took 27 classes at Upright Citizens Brigade or what have you, it's still good advice. You need to be in touch with your instincts in order to do improv successfully, and you need to be secure in the choices that you make. It's not a place for self-doubt. And you need to know that even if it's not perfect, you need to go into whatever choice you make in the realm of improv, whether it's on the stage, whether it's just you and your group uh fooling around and just staying sharp the way our group does. um Whether you're before an audience or not, you need to make your choices with intent, and even if they're not perfect, you need to act like you know exactly what you're doing. You need to be confident. And if you join a group and maybe it's not for you, maybe you don't really like their approach, or maybe somebody in the group is giving you a hard time, I suggest you still follow your instincts and go just don't give up, and just keep looking for a place that might be a better fit for you, because you're going to find it.
Yep, I agree. I think one of the things that I say a lot on this show, and I think it's like it bears repeating, is that if you're going somewhere to do improv and you don't like it, you don't have to stay. Go somewhere else. Try something new, and it is okay. It is totally, totally fine. There are places that I did that I really loved and places that I really didn't like. And again, I finished the programs because I'm just a completionist. But there are places where I was like, if I had started with this place, I probably wouldn't have continued improv because I didn't like it as much. And so and like I can rank all the places I went to, but like that's for you to decide as well, for those that are listening or watching, for you to decide. So I think that's a great piece of advice of trusting your instinct. If your instinct is you don't like this place, I wouldn't say like immediately like first class be like I hate improv. But again, you may also first class find out you don't like this improv class, and then you go somewhere else, and in the first 5 minutes you're like, this is so much cooler. I love this better. So always trust. I love that idea of trusting your instinct, because if you do want to take classes and you do want to do improv, you will find what works for you. It might take some time, but you'll discover it, and you'll also discover pretty quickly if there's a place you don't like as much. But try out a couple of places and kind of see which one works better for you, what vibe you like. But I think that's a great response. I was gonna say a great quest for the missing improv, but I tried. But that being said, I have one more question for you, Roxy, and that question is, any plugs, any pitches you want to share?
Okay. Well, as always, keep watching Quest for the Missing Scripts. We are gonna be coming out with new content. things are always changing, but we still got some wonderful people. We still want to keep making content for you. Hopefully, we will be performing in the New York area, so updates on that are to follow. But right now, I act mostly in the New Jersey area, so I am going to be in a play coming up starting October 15th, which is Alfred Hitchcock's The 39 Steps at the Villagers Playhouse in Franklin Township. And that starts October 15th at the Villagers Theater. If you Google it, you'll find our website right away. You can buy tickets now. That's October 15th, as well as the following weekend. And it's a 4-person adaptation of the film. And maybe you've seen it off Broadway or in one of its many other productions, but I play most of the female roles in the story, and it's a 4-person play, and oh my gosh, it is so much fun. And I hope that some of your listeners in the New York, New Jersey area will come out and see that. And also, I'm a regular writer and actor on Cinema Insomnia with Mr. Lobo on OSI 74, so feel free to check that out. Mr. Lobo's a great man. He's my mentor. Thank you.
Awesome, and we such a great pitch. It was so like succinct and like really like the wording was very eloquent. But also, it's all going to be linked down in the description down here. So take a look to buy tickets, to listen to things, to watch things. You can see it all in the descriptions down there because I know that for me, my little tiny pea brain can't process words that are said out loud. I have to write them down, but you don't have to write them down. You can just click the links below, and it make it a lot easier for yourself. Um, Again, Roxy, thank you so much for joining us here on the Improv Summit. I did say that was the last question I had for you, but as always on this show, I'm a big fat liar, just as you can't outrun the wolf kid, you can't outrun my lies. Which, by the way, I saw that movie, I rewatched that movie the other day. It's still a classic. Also produced by the guy who directed one of my favorite movies, Good Burger. Um, that question is, we've been talking a lot about improv. You want to do some improv?
Yes, I would love to, Spencer.
Yes, and let's do it. All right, we're going to do some improv. Roxy, what I need from you is the answer to this question. Do you want a location, a relationship, or a word?
Word.
Word. All right, I'm going to give you two. You tell me which one you want to go with. The suggestions are beans, beans or feet?
Beans.
Beans. Great. I don't know why those are the two words that came up first. I just made me think of sneaky things. Beans. Great. Who would you like to initiate the scene?
I'm feeling adventurous. Why don't you do it and I'll just react. So
Great. Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, Beans. Thank you, Beans. Yeah, so I was feeling like, on my Chipotle bowl, I was thinking like I want to do some pintos, but then like some black, and then I just was like, maybe if I just don't do any beans, like I save myself some calories, save some carbs, save some starch, like I'll just double up on the rice, and I feel like that would be like, like a solid bowl. I mean, like who's ever thought of putting just extra rice and no beans on a bowl? This guy.
Nathan, I asked how you're an innovator, like it says on your LinkedIn profile. And frankly, I don't know how talking about Chipotle is going to get you this marketing job.
Well,
So
you said I have an innovative link. I said I was an innovator on my link on my LinkedIn on my profile. Here's
yeah,
the thing. How many people put innovator on their LinkedIn profile, huh? This guy.
I've interviewed 72 applicants for this job, and 38 of them had innovator on their LinkedIn profile, Nathan.
38.
38 of them.
That's four more than 50%. Who was the only one that figured that math out? This guy.
Okay, I see your degree in business at Dulworth Community College is serving you very well.
Yes.
Okay.
Deep degree. So of course I thought harder. I thought smarter, not harder.
Right. Okay. So 38 of the 72 applicants said they were an innovator. All the other applicants said they were a visionary.
Oh, me
So
too.
you're a visionary.
Yeah, this guy.
How is this guy? a visionary. Can you tell this hiring manager why you're a visionary?
Well, this guy likes to be innovative. He likes to be visionary. He likes to be creative. And I think that's really what you're going to find here in marketing is that you just got to be innovative, visionary, and creative, and also just enjoy marketing. And I do enjoy marketing. That's
Why
a
do
unique
you
answer for you.
why do you enjoy marketing, Nathan?
Oh, because you get a lot of money, you get a lot of opportunity for creativity, and also opportunities to like move up within the company. Look, I can give you all the most unique answers all day. Let's just go ahead and give me the job and call it a day for this guy.
Okay, Nathan. We're at the portion of the interview where I give you what's called the wild card question. So, are
Ooh,
you
I
ready?
love it.
Are you
Yes,
ready to use your innovative, visionary mind to answer the wild card question?
I am so excited.
And you just can't hide it, can you?
Oh, that's the Pointer Sisters. Oh, I got that joke. This guy did.
Okay, Nathan, what's your go-to karaoke song and why?
Oh, well, it's actually a combination of three, any three. It's All Star Smash Mouth, my favorite song. Party in the USA, Miley Cyrus, because it's cheeky and fun. And Don't Stop Me Now, classic Queen. Because, when I'm up on the karaoke machine, you can't stop me now because I'm going. It's my turn.
Nathan, I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you now. You're not going to put your hands up, and you know you're not going to be okay. It's not a party in the USA. Somebody once told you the world is going to roll you because you're not going to get this job, Nathan.
I'm an all star.
And scene! It's like,
Thanks everyone so much for coming to the Improv Summit. As always, I'm your host, Spencer. That's Roxy. See you next time. Bye.
bye!